I want to jump right in today on naming your product or your brand or your company. So when I was an agency, we worked on hundreds, maybe even thousands of names that are in the market today. And it can be a really daunting process. Many names are taken or iterations of the name are taken, and domains and social media handles are taken. So it can be pretty difficult to start the naming process. This is where you start, and I believe this is probably the hardest part of the process, is to future-proof your name. So you really need to think far into the future of what the potential is for that product or brand or company. So for example, if you have a online software dedicated right now to the hospitality industry, and you use some kind of reference to hotels or hospitality in the name of your software product, but then 1 year from now you decide to pivot because of a trend or a threat in the market, and you need to pivot to a different industry, you're now stuck with a name that may not fit. So you really have to generalize the names, or make sure you understand the future of the product. If you're never going to go into another industry, or there isn't a consideration for that, then you can move forward. The next step is the brainstorm. So you probably already went through the process of what problem does my product or company solve, and use that language that you've developed now to really brainstorm and brain dump names. So just write down every word that you can think of related to this product, brand, or company, and invite friends, invite family, invite coworkers to also give you words and what they think of when thinking of this company or the problem that it solves. And then you can start to even explore beyond that, maybe just some fun words, or maybe things from your history or the heritage of your brand or your company, and put all of those words to paper. The next step is to narrow down those words to, I would say, 5 to 10 names that you really like. You can start to play with words too by removing letters. So a great example of that is Founder. It's a magazine for entrepreneurs, and what they did was they took the word founder and removed the E. So it's F-O-U-N-D-R. That's a great way to use words that sound like the word that you are referencing when you're talking about your company, but are spelled a little bit different and maybe a little bit more modern and in a fresh way. Next, you'll need to pick your number one name and search. So I would start with a general Google search and see if you come up with any companies that have that name currently. And the next thing you'll want to do is go to uspto.gov and search trademarks. So there are a couple ways that you can use trademark search, but I would just start with the general Boolean search, put in your word and see what comes up. And if you come up with nothing, you're in a pretty good place. But keep in mind that another brand may have spelled it differently, and you still could have some kind of a threat. So you really need to run it through a lawyer, and you can do so pretty affordably online now, but typically a trademark search is between $500 and $750 to actually search and then to submit your trademark. Then you'll want to consider testing your names. So you can do this through different ways of research, either online or in focus group. You want to be careful of the name because you haven't trademarked it yet, but it's helpful to do some testing and research, especially if you're a consumer-facing brand or company. And the last thing I'd say is live with the name. So put the name on the wall of your office and live with it a bit and see how it sits with you. I don't recommend sharing it with everyone you know, because everyone has a different opinion, and you'll get 20 different opinions if you share it with 20 different people. So I recommend really just living with it for a few weeks and see if that name really sticks and fits and is easy for you to say and share with other people. And here is my pro tip. So USPTO.gov allows you to search both live and dead trademarks. A great way to find a unique name or a really good name is to search the dead trademarks. So you may take a word like branding or brand and put brand into the search, turn off the live, include the dead, and now you have a list of names that have been abandoned. And so every year, hundreds, even thousands of companies abandon great names because either they don't need them or they are no longer making that product. And that name can be applied to your brand or company. Thanks.